Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to this pilgrimage to the Litany of Humility. For the next 16 days, we're going to be repeating one phrase over and over again, and that phrase is, "Deliver me, Jesus." Now, the first question that comes to mind in response to this phrase is, from what? What do we want to be delivered from? I know that the Litany of Humility tells us right off the bat, we're going to be exploring what the prayer invites us to be delivered from every day for the next 16 days. But at a meta level, what are we trying to be delivered from? The easy answer, the answer that probably comes to mind for you is pride, right? If it's a litany of humility and pride is the opposite of humility, then what we want to be delivered from is pride, right? The answer actually is no. We're actually asking Jesus each of the next 16 days to deliver us from some of the deepest and most universal triggers that pull us out of the present moment. In the present moment is God, and it's the only place that he's in. So if we want to hear his voice, if we want to experience his grace, we can only do that in the present moment. Because when we leave the present moment, we enter into fight, flight, or freeze. We end up trying to control outcomes of life. We try to force certain outcomes from happening, or we try to get things we have no business trying to get, or we try to manufacture our own happiness. And we do all kinds of crazy, messy things in our lives that take us out of the present moment, out of God's presence, and out of his grace and the ability to see right in front of us how God is calling us to live and be in this world. So as we go through the Litany of Humility each day, the Litany of Humility is talking to us about being delivered from the desire to be esteemed, loved, extolled, honored, praised, all that stuff. Not because those things are bad, but because when it's our primary focus, when it's at the top of the list, when it's our number one, we are out of the present moment and we can't hear the voice of God because we're so busy trying to manufacture esteem, love, honor, praise, all that stuff. The same is true for the second half of this litany, where we talk all about fear, because fear takes us away from the present moment too. When we're afraid of being humiliated, hated, rebuked, forgotten, ridiculed, all that stuff, we have a tendency to want to run away or protect ourselves. And when we're running or when we're frozen in fear, it's almost impossible to see God in that moment. It's almost impossible to be present to him and his grace and access his strength in that moment. Now, wisdom says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, right? So I cannot strive to be preferred to others as my number one, or act primarily out of a fear of being forgotten and strive for the kingdom of God at the same time. It's because I'm too locked in on my own emotions, my own fears, my own stuff. I'm too focused on me to seek and find God in the present moment in all humility. So for the next 16 days, we're going to ask God to deliver us from these universally powerful draws out of the present moment, away from the presence of God. Now, not every day is going to resonate with you. Not every day is going to contain something that you personally struggle with. Not every day is going to be a trigger that you regularly get into that pulls you out of the present moment and into ruminations or into desiring things you don't have, or thinking about the past and feeling shame about the past or being afraid of the future. Not everything is going to be a trigger for you, but there's going to be at least one of these next 16 days that really gets to you, that really touches on a fear or desire that exists as an obstacle between you and God. Something that takes you out of God's world and into the world of selfishness, self-protection, control, or fear. And when you reach your moment, when you have your day, you'll know that it's your day. And I just want to encourage you again, get curious when you reach your day. Don't punish yourself. Don't ridicule yourself. Don't hate on that part of yourself that puts something before God or that gets stymied by fear. Don't belittle it. Don't be like, how could this small thing take me from God? Don't do any of that. Be compassionate. Be curious. that part of you, it may not be recommending something good. It may not be driving the bus in a holy direction. But at its core, that part of you, 99% of the time, is trying to do something good. It's trying to protect you. It's trying to keep you safe. It's trying to do something good. So approach it with tenderness and with compassion and ask God to show you behind the curtain of its motivation so that he can deliver you from the concern, ultimately, that you can't rely on him, that you can't be in the present moment with him and be happy. This kind of work is really hard. It's really vulnerable, but it's also really deep and really meaningful. So may we have the courage to pray with our whole hearts, Jesus, deliver me. We begin the 16-day journey tomorrow. God bless you, and I will see you